Please tell me about your friend, Terrell Bernard.
Yeah, Terrell and I met first day of school of first grade. Um, we were 6 years old. Went to school in San Francisco, and we instantly became friends. I went up to him on the playground and I asked him if he wanted to be friends, and he said sure. And that led to us being best friends and pretty much inseparable until the day that he passed away in 1998, February 11th, 1998.
Were there any warning signs that may have hinted that he wanted to take his life?
Not outwardly, nothing that I ever noticed or some of his other friends. He was going through a rough time. He was going through a divorce, and I knew that he was upset about it. There was some custody issues. He had a little girl who was not quite 2 years old at the time. And so we talked, and he was, upset about things, the way things were going, and I'll delve into that a little bit deeper later on. But nothing outward that I ever saw, which is really frustrating because I wish there was a sign to where I felt I could have maybe done something.
Do you wish that you may have been educated on warning signs that are common in people who want to end their life?
Yeah, absolutely. Terrell wasn't the first person that I knew that committed suicide. He was by far the closest person to me that had ever done it. And quite honestly, my opinion prior to this hitting so close to home was one of people that do that are cowards, that they are selfish, and that they just take the easy way out. I had a couple of people that I'd worked with previous to this that had done it, and that was kind of my thought. I felt bad for them and all that, but I had a different opinion of it once it hit so close.
How did him taking his life affect you?
It affected everything about me. When it happened, my first response was I was angry, I was mad. At first I didn't believe that he could have done that. As I said, I had always felt it was cowardice and all those kind of things. And so my first response was dead on anger. Then it was probably a little avoidance. I thought that I handled it as well as I could at the time, by, just trying to move on from it. And right after it happened, my sole mission for the first week or so was to make sure that he had a proper burial. And so at the time, my wife and I were starting to save for our house, and we had a few $1,000s saved away. And without asking, my wife told me that to go ahead and use that money to help pay for funeral services. And so I'm forever grateful for that. And I started calling our friends, and within a matter of a day or day and a half, I raised $10,000 to be able to bury him properly, because he didn't have much and his mom didn't have much. And it was my therapy, I guess, to get through the initial shock, was just to stay busy. And we did that. We gave him a beautiful service, church packed with people of all races, colors, orientations. It was really a beautiful ceremony, and I did the eulogy. Nothing written down. I just got up and spoke from my heart, and I made it through without crying and all those kind of things. And in my own manly way, I thought I was done with it. I thought I had dealt with it. I knew that there'd be tough times ahead and all that, but I tried to be the strong guy and just kind of push it aside and try to move forward. What I didn't realize was on February 11th, 1998, part of me died with him. I'm not the same today as I was then. I wish I was. But not only how his death has affected me, but so many people that loved him. His daughter, who's doing well. She's almost 17 now. She's a great girl, and we still stay close with her as much as we can. But as far as me directly, part of me, just like I said, it went away that day. And prior to that, I was a really happy person all the time. Nothing could get me down. But as the days became weeks and the weeks became months and the months became years, right after that, I just wasn't the same person. I wasn't a bad person or anything like that, but I definitely was a little withdrawn from the people closest to me. And unfortunately, that resulted in, a lot of big strain on my marriage. It resulted in my kids not getting 100% of me that they deserved. I like to think I'm still a pretty good parent and that I've done a good job with my kids, but I wish they would have known me prior to this better, because I was always happy. And now, I'm happy most of the time, but, I'm a little more edgy, I guess, and a little grumpy at times. And, it's my responsibility that I let it get that far. But my life, unfortunately, probably will never be the same. When you're that close with somebody and they leave that way, and there's so many unanswered questions, it's pretty tough to get over.
Do you know why or how he took his life?
I definitely know how he did it. As far as the why, I can only speculate because there wasn't a note left or anything like that. As I said briefly earlier, he was going through a divorce, custody battle. It was pretty nasty at times. He would go to court and hear a lot of things said about him that were either grossly overstated or flat out untrue. His ex-wife, or I guess they never really fully got divorced, his wife was a lot younger than him and had a family who, let's just say, didn't like him at all without even knowing him. I haven't mentioned anything up to this point, but my friend was black. And not that that should matter at all, but part of, I think, what got to him was every relationship he ever had with a woman, it seemed to be that he was never fully accepted by their family. A lot of racist behavior and hatred against black people with, whatever their personal experience was, I don't know, but anybody that would have ever met Terrell and gave him an actual shot, nobody could have ever disliked him. But in this case, his wife's mother was driving behind the scenes pretty hard, the divorce, and I think filled his wife's head with a lot of things. And I just think over the years, part of that maybe not feeling adequate, which was ridiculous, and the fact that he thought he was losing everything, I guess, his wife and potentially his daughter. And although a split second of time shouldn't erase everything good that he had done in his life and how wonderful he was to everybody he ever came across. But I think that was just a lot of the things that led up to him doing what he did. As far as how he did it, he had just come out of court, and it didn't go well in court, I guess, and a lot of things were said about him again that, again, were either overstated or not true. And I guess that was the final straw for him. And at the time, his wife had moved out of their place and was living at her mother's house. He went over there to the mother's house, and he owned a gun, and he shot himself in the head on their porch. Pretty gruesome to do something like that. My only thought is it was his way of telling them, you finally got me. And I don't for a second believe their intention was ever to make him die. But I think that's kind of maybe was his thought process. Again, I don't know for sure, that's all speculation about why he did what he did. But, 2 + 2 = 4, and that's kind of what I think to have happened.
Do you have any last words of wisdom for anybody who may be considering taking their own life, or anybody who may or may not be seeing signs in a friend or a loved one but does not know how to react?
Absolutely. When Donovan asked me to do this, my immediate response was absolutely. I will never turn down one of my kids when they want help with something. After I immediately said yes, I started to kind of freak out a little bit because this isn't something I really enjoy talking about. It drums up a lot of emotions, as you can see. But the more I thought about it, and the more I pondered, maybe this is something that I really need to do, not only for myself, but hopefully for somebody else. It was kind of cemented for me this past Sunday. I attended the De La Salle graduation for the class of 2013, and unfortunately, one of their classmates took his own life shortly after freshman year of high school. And during the graduation ceremony, they presented him posthumously with a high school diploma, and his parents came up and accepted that. And I sat there bawling like a baby. Feelings of how could that happen to a young person, and what could ever be so bad to make someone think that that was the right thing to do. And so as I sat there watching that, I started really to think that, okay, no matter how uncomfortable it may be for me, I needed to do this, not only for Donovan, but for myself. Maybe getting some of this off my chest will help with my family as well. But most importantly, I wanted to make sure that young people out there that are watching this know that no matter how bad things get, no matter how dark of a place you think you're in, it always can be better. And people that love you will always be there to support you. And your life is worth something. No matter what you may be thinking at the time, I don't care if your girlfriend or boyfriend dumped you, or you got poor grades and you're thinking your parents are going to be mad at you, or whatever. There's nothing that can happen that will ever make it better by ending your life. The repercussions of that for you are obviously long term. It's over with. For the people that stay behind, your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your loved ones, your friends, that never leaves them. And no matter what they say or do or how much therapy they can get, there'll always be a part of them that is numb from that. And there's nothing that you can go through that God can't help you get through, that your family can't help you get through. And you need to understand that it's okay to ask for help. I wish my friend would have asked for help. I wish I would have asked for help immediately after this happened, and maybe I could have gotten over it sooner. But there's always help out there for you. Family, friends, teachers, clergy, whatever the case may be, there's help, and you need to seek it.